My name is Ash Piruz. I'm delighted to be helping Chabad with this gala dinner, and this is my wife Shiva.
And my name is Shiva Piruz. I was born in Tehran, Iran. During the week, I always went to just a public school in our area, and I took the Hebrew class on Fridays. We had Fridays off. All my classmates were Muslim. They were nice. They knew I was Jewish, except for that one teacher that wanted to convert me all the time.
I was born in 1978 in a city in Iran called Shiraz. So we were born in different cities. Judaism was very important to my family, especially my dad. You know, Hebrew education was important for him. Friday nights going to the shul or Saturday mornings, but it was fun memories.
I finished 3 years of high school in Iran at the age of 16. But as a Jew, it was hard to get into universities. They would ask you on the application, what was your religion?
One of the issues that I think we all experienced living in Iran was that higher education was available, but it was very hard to achieve, especially being a minority Jew. So I finished high school in Iran, and we decided that we're going to leave the country and move to the U.S. So I came to the U.S. with my sister, without my parents and younger brother. It was '96 when we came to the U.S.
I was 16 years old. This is October of 1999 that I left Iran along with my family. We first went to Austria and stayed there for about 7 months before immigrating to America.
I was born in Vienna, Austria, on the 14th of June, 1932. When the war broke out, I remember as a young man the marching of the people on the street, shouting Heil Hitler and all that. So my father, my mother said it's time to get out of here and move back to Hungary, where my mother is from. I was placed in a boarding school for protection. It was it's maybe Presbyterian or Calvinistic religion. And I was there almost to the end of 44. In October of 1944, they had a new chancellor appointed, and his name was Szálasi. And he was a big Nazi, and we had to put our yellow stars on. I was kicked out of the boarding school because they did find out that I was Jewish. And I was for a while with my stepmother. My stepmother was part of a Zionist organization called Betar. The people from Betar took me into a protected house. And I lived there till the whole protective house was marched into the newly established ghetto toward the end of 1944.
My father was born in the Ukraine, and it was right before the war had started. My dad's dad was drafted. Within a couple months of the war starting, they found out that he had lost his life serving his country. And at the same time, they got a letter saying that the Jewish camp that his aunt was at and his sisters was completely annihilated by the Nazis so early in the war. My dad was only 5 or 6 years old, and he still remembers all of this very vividly, and it's extremely traumatic for him and actually for all of us to even have heard about it and to have the honor of being named after them. His aunt was named Ida, and that's my little sister's name, and then Diana and Zoya were his two sisters who I was named after.
I met Ash, it was April of 2005 at UCLA Library.
We're both nerds.
I was a nerd back then, yes, and
She still is.
I was minding my own business, studying. But we had a common friend who introduced us together, and I was doing a research about teeth, and his sister is a dentist and his dad is a dentist, so that's how he started his conversation with me.
But my version of the story is this, that I was sitting in the library, minding my own business the same way she was, and she was sitting in the cubicle right next to me, and I was looking at my books, and next thing I know, I look up, and I look at her, and I look at her beautiful blue eyes, and I was done. And then we got married in 2009. This was right after I was finishing residency and Shiva was finishing dental school.
I was in a ghetto for 3 months. I met quite a few Jewish people. I remember them praying a lot, and I didn't know what to do. It kind of put me in a strange place because I didn't understand the prayers. I didn't understand those boxes on the arms and whatever. I had no idea what's going on till I got bar mitzvahed by Rabbi Yitzie at the age of 80, I believe.
Our son, Shaya, was born in November 2012.
I think one of the things that change as soon as you have a child is that you start looking for a home. And obviously one of the things we're looking for it was to make sure where we live or where we end up has a Jewish community.
We started looking for over a year. One of our options was Palos Verdes. We both really love the area. It's beautiful, it's very family oriented, but we weren't sure if there is any Jewish families around. I think I called the Chabad first. I spoke to Rachi. I remember speaking to Rachi and got some information. Then one Shabbat we just drove. We really liked it. They were very welcoming. We just connected. That was the spark that was there.
I started to go to Chabad preschool approximately 1994. Russian was my first language, and so I remember coming there and not knowing any English, and I think I must have learned English in a couple weeks because I had already made so many friends. It was so normal to me to just go over to Rachi's house, and then she would teach us stuff as we, I think we thought we were helping. I don't think we were actually helping, but it was the best experience. I remember just seeing the kids grow up, and I loved feeling like I was growing up with them and I was a part of the family, and that to me was, I still hold on to that feeling. And then later down the road babysitting, and it felt like family.
When I joined or became kind of part of the Chabad, I think I'm the only one who didn't know any of the prayers other than have a yarmulke on my head. I didn't know what to do, and then when Rabbi Yitzie called me up to Bima, I think it's called, right? Then Rabbi Yitzie showed me what to read, and then I did, and then he did, and then I did, and all of a sudden people were throwing stuff at me, and I thought I'd done something wrong, and it turned out that these were candies, and I had no idea what that was. I don't remember I had a single one of them though. They all fell all over the place. and then Rabbi Yitzie said, well, congratulations, you are bar mitzvahed. I don't think I gave him a consent for that. So I said, okay, all right, but what can it hurt? It cannot hurt. And then he says, well, Gunter, that is to put an extra nail in Hitler's coffin. I said, well, that makes sense. So that made sense to me. I had a BMW, which is Bayerische Motorwerke, because it's a German car from München, where the trouble started actually. I choose a license plate that says Davke, D-A-V-K-E. We use Davke in my family a lot when expressing an intention of do something in spite of.
Growing up, my parents instilled two values in all of us, and they were sort of non-negotiable, if you will. But I took them to heart because they were in line with my own values. And they were basically marry a Jewish man and go to medical school. That was it. April 27th, 2018, I graduated from medical school. And in a couple months, I will be starting my residency training at Duke University Hospital. I'm engaged to Mark Eder. I remember bringing Mark to Rabbi Yitzie's office and them meeting for the first time. And at first I was a little bit nervous because, this is the rabbi that I have respected and who has been part of my family for literally my entire life. I was thinking, you better like him. And so, as in Rabbi Yitzie better like Mark, and I guess vice versa, but more importantly, the other way around. Right off the bat, both started joking about literally everything. Both of them were sarcastic. Both of them have that same sort of New York sense of humor. I said to him, so we want to get married in Palm Beach in Florida at the Flagler Museum. We want to make it a kosher wedding. It would be with my family. Rabbi Yitzie would be the rabbi. That's how I had dreamt of it.
So I was very rebellious, and if there was a God, I didn't see a reason why I should go through all that sorrows and why I should lose half of my family. And then came that interesting meeting with Rabbi Yitzie that started a whole new chapter, actually, in my life, one could say a renaissance.
And one of the things that's fundamentally, I think it's important to know about Chabad of Palos Verdes is the sense of inclusion, that everyone is welcome. And I remember every time we went to the shul, they just made us feel like we're home. So they made the decision of moving to PV very easy for us. After we moved in, a few months after that, my daughter Raya was born. And then our family grew to a family of 4.
We signed up Shaya and Raya for the class Art and Aleph. I had the honor of bringing them to the class every week. Marachi puts a fun twist into the Hebrew class. They do a lot of art. I actually have them hang it in their playroom, all their paperwork. It's very beautiful, I think. Now they know they're Jewish. Now they understand the values, and they know that in the future, Shai already talks about his future wife that has to be Jewish.
I've always wanted to have a lot of kids. I want to have a loud, big Jewish family. Chabad of Palos Verdes has, without a doubt, guided me in feeling this way, and also guided me in understanding what is important to me and what Jewishness means to me. Marachi has become more than just a teacher to me. She is my go-to. She is my guide. I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up in the future geographically, but my dream would be to then bring my kids back here and have them continue going to Chabad of Palos Verdes with me.
What is the future of Judaism? These are these kids, our kids, that grow up and help us preserve the Jewish identity. So we're lucky to have organizations like Chabad, and we're lucky to have people like Rabbi Yitzie and Rachi that dedicate their life and help us preserve the Jewish community and the Jewish identity for our kids.
I can see a flame that is still going on. And we are today probably as stronger than ever before.